Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NFL slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for this weekend's divisional round. Now, Draftkings, to my surprise, is actually running a 4-game slate, so they are including all 4 games this weekend, the 2 games on Saturday and then the 2 games on Sunday. I thought the Draftkings would do what they did last week and have a 2-game slate for Saturday, a 2-game slate for Sunday, and those kind of be the main, featured slates, but our featured slate this weekend is, the full 4 games. So, as always, guys, we're going to talk through these 4 games. We're going to go position by position, quarterback through tight end, kind of talk about what stands out to me, what I do like for this NFL slate this weekend. We'll touch on some DraftKings plays I like. We'll touch on some guys I like on Yahoo as well. But before we do get started, as always, please do hit the like button down below, guys. I do always appreciate the likes. If you're new to the channel here, make sure you click that subscribe button as well. I'm trying to get back into the swing of uploading NFL content again. I want to try and make videos basically up until the playoffs are over, up until the Super Bowl. Wanted to get a video out this weekend for the divisional round. I'll definitely have a video next week for the conference championships, and then I'll have a video for sure for the showdown slate for the Super Bowl. So, going to be getting NFL content back up on the channel. Still making NBA videos as well, Monday through Friday, streaming for NBA too. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. Do upload a lot of DFS content to this channel. And another thing, if you guys are new here and you have not checked out PrizePicks, go sign up for PrizePicks. Use promo code NOAH when you do, and PrizePicks will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. And I do want to mention that PrizePicks is running a very cool promo this weekend for the playoffs. They have set Patrick Mahomes passing yards at 0.5. So obviously this is basically a free pick that PrizePicks is giving you. If you look on the screen right now, basically as long as Mahomes throws for 1 yard Sunday, which is obviously a guarantee, once Mahomes throws for 1 yard, you will win that pick. Now you do have to find another pick to pair with that. On PrizePicks, you have to make at least 2 picks, but they're basically giving you 1 free pick that you can do. So you would take the over on 0.5 passing yards for Patrick Mahomes, and then you can find another pick you like to pair with that. One pick that I like for this weekend, if you want to, tail me, over 27.5 receiving yards for Gabriel Davis. This is one pick I do like, taking a look at the PrizePicks board for NFL this weekend. If you want to pair these two together, over 27.5 receiving yards for Gabe Davis with the Mahomes promo, you put $25 on it. That's the max amount you can bet on this promo. It would pay out $75. So if you do a power play, you get both picks right. Obviously, the Mahomes pick you're going to get right. It's just going to come down to if you get your other pick right. If you get that one right, you're going to triple up your money easily as that. So you'll turn $25 into $75 as long as you get your other pick right that you can pair with Mahomes. And again, 27.5 receiving yards for Gabe Davis. This is one pick I do like this weekend on PrizePicks. Gabe Davis last week, he did play a good amount of snaps. Now, with Manny Sanders returning last week, I thought there was a possibility that maybe Gabe Davis, his role wouldn't be as good last week with Manny Sanders back in the equation, but Gabe Davis actually led the wide receiver core in snaps. He played 40 snaps, 71%. Manny Sanders, on the other hand, played 46% of snaps. Now, Gabe Davis did only get like 3 targets last week, but that was a game where they beat the crap out of New England. Late in the game, they were just kind of running the ball a lot. They didn't really have to throw a ton. Obviously, this is a totally different scenario this weekend. Going into Arrowhead, the game has like a 55 total. We're expecting a shootout. I think Josh Allen's going to probably throw the ball like 40, 45 times this weekend. Love over 27.5 receiving yards for Gabe Davis. The projections that I actually look at have him projected for 52.6 receiving yards, so they have him almost double this projection right now. I think if you want to pair this with the Patrick Mahomes promo, that should be an easy, $75 right there. Obviously, you put 25 on it, you win 75. If you don't love the Gabe Davis pick, then you can take a look at PrizePicks' entire board, find something else you like to pair with that. You can do 1 pick to go with it. You could do 2 picks, 3 picks. But PrizePicks is running a cool promo this weekend, over 0.5 passing yards for Patrick Mahomes. That's a free pick you can get, and then just find some other picks to pair with that, and potentially win 3, 4, 5 times your money, depending on if you want to do like a 2-pick power play, 3-pick power play, whatever it may be. If you guys are new here, though, definitely check out PrizePicks. This should be a big incentive to make you want to go sign up for PrizePicks. I know a lot of you guys have already checked them out. This is for new and existing users, so if you're already a user on PrizePicks, you can use this promo. If you're a new user, hopefully, or if you haven't even signed up for PrizePicks yet, hopefully this will kind of incentivize you to go check out PrizePicks. Just giving this cool promo they're running. Again, if you want to sign up, use code NOAH when you do sign up, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But yeah, guys, let's take a look at this 4-game little playoff slate. And we're going to start off at the quarterback position, kind of talk through what I like at each position. So at quarterback this week, I think there's kind of two guys that really stand out head and shoulders above the rest, and that is Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Now, as we mentioned, this game does have the highest total on the slate right now, 54 implied total in this Chiefs-Bills game. Expecting a lot of points scored here. Josh Allen last week, in a game where they beat the crap out of New England. I mean, Josh Allen, he only threw the ball 25 times, but he was super efficient, 308 yards, 5 touchdowns, had 41 DraftKings points. Like, we know Josh Allen has massive upside. Again, this is a game that has a lot of shootout potential. I think we're going to see a lot of pass attempts from Josh Allen. I think, this could be a game where they maybe trail. I think this should be probably one of the best games this weekend, though. This is one I'm looking forward to a ton on Sunday night. So really, really like Josh Allen here. For what it's worth, he went for 39 DraftKings points against Kansas City back in Week 5 when they played during the regular season. We know Josh Allen has a ton of upside both through the air and through the ground. He offers rushing upside. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks for sure. I think Patrick Mahomes looks really good as well. Mahomes was great last week in the wild card game against Pittsburgh, 30 for 39 in terms of pass attempts and completions, 5 passing touchdowns, over 400 yards. Mahomes doesn't offer the same rushing upside that Josh Allen does, but he can go out there and throw for 400 plus yards any weekend. He obviously can throw 4, 5, 6 touchdowns. Like, he just got a ton of upside. I think Allen and Mahomes are kind of on another level this week. I think those are my two favorite quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes I do like quite a bit, though. We'll kind of plug him into our early core. He is one guy that I think does stand out. And on Yahoo, I definitely like Mahomes over there. If you look at the Yahoo pricing, they really priced up Josh Allen at $43, but Mahomes is way down here at $34. So I definitely like Mahomes on Yahoo with that big discount now. On DraftKings, they're closely priced. If you wanted to go with Allen over Mahomes, I wouldn't mind that, but definitely think Allen and Mahomes are the two best quarterback plays this weekend, not really going out on a limb. Then the other guys like in the mid-range, so Aaron Rodgers at 7-1. Just don't know if I can get there. I just don't know if Aaron Rodgers has the upside that Mahomes and Allen does, and since he's closely priced to those guys, I think I would just rather get up to Allen and Mahomes. Obviously, if you're playing Aaron Rodgers in tournaments, you kind of know who you want to stack him with. If Aaron Rodgers goes out there and throws 3, 4 touchdowns, it's probably going to be Devonta Adams who has a big game. So obviously you could stack up Rodgers and Adams in tournaments, but Rodgers not really on at the top of my list. He would definitely be towards the bottom. Tom Brady at 6'8", I think is still viable. Without Chris Godwin, we've seen Brady, kind of be inconsistent lately. He didn't look great in that wild card game. Only threw for 2 touchdowns. Brady is a guy though that can throw for 300 plus yards, can get 3, 4, 5 touchdowns any weekend. I think in a game against the Rams that another game that has some shootout potential, Brady's definitely in play in the mid-range. I think Brady's probably my favorite guy outside of the top 2. Joe Burrow at 6'6". Joe Burrow's been great. Last week, in terms of efficiency, he didn't really get there. Only two passing touchdowns, but we've seen Burrow have weeks where he throws for 3, 4 touchdowns. 6,600. I think he's priced about where he should be. Right now, Burrow's not getting a ton of ownership, only 6% ownership. So if you want to go there as a GPP play, I think it's okay. Stafford at 6'2", probably right there with Brady. Two of my favorite mid-range options are definitely Brady and Stafford. Stafford in this game against Tampa Bay, again, I think this is a game that has a lot of shootout potential as well. The way you beat this Tampa Bay team is through the air. They've been a tough team to run on. I think we did see these teams play back. We saw these teams play back in Week 3. Stafford was great. They played at home in L.A. Stafford had 32 DraftKings points, over 330 yards, 340 yards, 4 touchdowns. Definitely think Stafford at 6'2" is viable. Probably would put him behind Brady. And then, value-wise at quarterback, I don't think I'd be going to Ryan Tannehill or Jimmy G. Tennessee and San Fran, those are two teams that just want to run the ball as much as possible. Tennessee is getting Derrick Henry back this weekend, so they're probably going to be feeding Derrick Henry as much as possible. I just don't know if Tannehill has the upside. Same with Jimmy Garoppolo, so really don't see myself going there. I think quarterback for me this weekend, Josh Allen and Mahomes are by far my 2 favorite plays, but in the mid-range, I do have some interest in Tom Brady, do have some interest in Matthew Stafford. That's probably my 4 favorite guys. The rest of the quarterback position, obviously if you wanted to in tournaments, if you're playing a lot of lineups, sure you could sprinkle in some Joe Burrow, some Aaron Rodgers, but I think for me, those 4 guys we talked about, it's kind of where I'm looking to at quarterback. But now moving on to the running back position. So Derrick Henry, going to be back this weekend. It's going to be tough to tell what kind of workload we can expect from Derrick Henry. Now, obviously, he's been out for a while, hasn't played since week 9 or week 8. I haven't seen any report on any sort of pitch count for Henry. This will be something we have to monitor heading up to Saturday's game. If Derrick Henry is full go and can get his normal 25, 30 touches, we know when Derrick Henry's out there, he's going to be fed the ball. When he was healthy during the regular season, he was getting almost 30 touches a week. We know Tennessee wants to run the ball as much as possible. I think Derrick Henry, we're getting a big discount off of what he was priced during the regular season. Maybe just because, maybe the DraftKings wanted to price him down just for the slate and as a whole, make it easier to build lineups. But I definitely think Henry, if he's full go, I mean, he's for sure going to be a strong play at the running back position. We'll have to pay attention to that. Aaron Jones at 6'8", not as interested in Aaron Jones. He's still going to be splitting work with A.J. Dillon. Aaron Jones always has a big ceiling, but on this slate specifically, I think there's running backs for cheaper that I'd rather go to. Like, I'd probably rather play Joe Mixon. Definitely would rather go to, like, Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary in the mid-range, I do like quite a bit. His workload has just been great as of late. He's basically been, like, the workhorse running back for the Bills just, like, the last 4 or 5 weeks. They basically cut Zach Moss out. I don't even think Matt Breida's been getting any playing time. It's just been the Singletary show. Singletary's been getting 15, 20 carries. They've been using him a good amount in the passing game, too. I mean, he's gotten at least 20 touches now in 3 straight games. 4 of his last 5, he's gotten over 20 touches. So definitely think Devin Singletary is a pretty strong play here. He's someone I do like quite a bit if you want to go to him in the mid-range. Eli Mitchell, 5,800. On the road against Green Bay, I do worry a bit about San Fran maybe getting behind in this game. I think right now they're the biggest dogs on the slate. Yeah, San Fran right now, 5.5-point road dogs. So maybe, San Fran has to throw the ball a little bit more. Maybe if they get behind, you see them kind of abandon the run, or they might be forced to abandon the run. But we do know the 49ers, they want to run the ball as much as possible. The only worry about Eli Mitchell is that his pass game usage this season has just been all over the place. Some weeks he'll get 3, 4, 5 targets. Last week against the Cowboys, he only got 2 targets. He's going to have to be really efficient on the ground to put up a big ceiling game. He's probably going to have to score at least 1, if not 2 rushing touchdowns. There's always a possibility for that, but when you look at the guys priced around him, like Singletary, who's getting 3, 4, 5 targets a game, Leonard Fournette, I'm thinking will play this week. And Leonard Fournette, when he's been healthy, his workload has been amazing. He's been getting amazing usage in the passing game, and on DraftKings with the scoring how it is, full PPR, you want to try and get running backs that can catch 5, 6, 7 balls. It just makes their floor so much higher. Obviously, their ceiling is a lot higher as well with how much with guys like Fournette who can catch so many passes. At 5,700, if Fournette is playing this week, I'd expect him to get back to his normal workload. We've seen, Giovanni Bernard last week looked really good. He was kind of the featured running back. They've been using Keyshawn Vaughn as well. I would think, though, if Fournette is healthy and is able to play, he is going to, go right back to his normal role. And at 5,700, I mean, he's going to be probably one of the better running back plays on the slate if he does play this week. This will be something to monitor. I think for now, most people are expecting Fournette to play. If he does play, he's going to be a pretty good option. It looks like we did just get a report that Fournette is expected to play. So, there we go. Fournette for sure going to be one of my favorite running back plays this week. I think he's going to get back to his normal workload. 15, 16, 17 carries, 4, 5, 6 targets. We know Brady loves throwing to his running backs, and when Fournette's out there, he's going to run routes. Obviously, he'll be kind of the early down back. They'll probably use Giovanni Bernard a good amount on passing situations, but they're still going to throw to Fournette a lot too. So I definitely like Fournette a lot at 5,700. I think the other guy that really stands out at running back is Cam Akers. So Cam Akers last week, he saw his role, really, really increase. Obviously, in his first game back against San Fran, they kind of eased him in. He only played like 20% of the snaps, only saw 8 touches. Last week, though, 18 touches for Cam Akers. He played more snaps than Sony Michel did, and he was pretty much the lead running back. He basically was the guy that they gave most of the volume to, gave most of the playing time to. I did want to pull up the snap counts just to confirm, but I know Michel didn't play as much as Akers. Akers played on 53% of the snaps last week. Michel 40%. So I think heading into this game, Cam Akers is kind of the lead running back. I think he's going to be the guy out there, on early downs. I think they're still going to involve Sony Michel quite a bit, but Cam Akers heading into this season was being touted as like one of the top fantasy running backs, and then he got injured. So obviously, things haven't gone the way we want them to. But Akers came back. Since he's come back, he's looked great. Especially last week, he looked great. I think he's going to get 12 to 15 carries. I think they're going to use Akers a good amount in the passing game too. When he's out there, they will pass the ball to him. Matthew Stafford will definitely dump it off to his running back. So Cam Akers at 5,500, especially if he's like the lead back now for Arizona or for the Rams, excuse me. If he's kind of taking a step over Sony Michel for 5,500, I definitely like Cam Akers on the slate. Another running back play I'll be looking to. And on Yahoo, Cam Akers really affordable over there, $19. I think he really stands out on Yahoo as well. And then real quickly, I did want to talk about the Chiefs running back situation. So It's going to be tough to tell what the Chiefs do. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is off the injury report, so he is going to play on Sunday. Obviously, Jerick McKinnon was great last week in the wild card game, kind of out of nowhere. Everyone was expecting, Darrell Williams to be the workhorse, and Darrell Williams was activated. He was able to play, but they wound up using Jerick McKinnon a lot. Jerick McKinnon got 18 touches, 12 carries, got 6 catches. I have no idea what the Chiefs are going to do this weekend. I'm guessing it's going to be like a three-headed committee with CEH, McKinnon, and Darrell Williams all getting some opportunity. Darrell Williams, I think, is going to play most likely. He did play last week, but on a limited basis. He had one carry for 4 yards. He had a fumble, and then he literally didn't play like any of the game after that. I don't know if they benched Darrell Williams because of the fumble or if he just wasn't healthy last week. But yeah, it's a tough situation with the Chiefs running backs. I think for now we can kind of expect McKinnon to be the 1A, but I think it will be a committee. I think you will see McKinnon involved. I think you will see Clyde Edwards-Helaire involved. It might be sort of a hot hand situation. Whichever guy's running the ball best, whichever guy's the most efficient, maybe they give that guy the most touches. If I had to play a Chiefs running back this weekend, it probably would be McKinnon, but I don't feel great about them. I think I'd rather get up to guys like Fournette, Cam Akers, who kind of have a clear workhorse role, and for the most part, if those guys are healthy, if Fournette's healthy heading into Sunday, he'll get a ton of touches. If Cam Akers, with how his workload is slowly creeping up, he's kind of the lead back for Arizona or for the Rams right now. The Chiefs situation, one I might just kind of be avoiding. So that's really it for the running back position. I think we can go ahead and move on to wide receiver now. So a wide receiver, basically every week there's always going to be a lot of plays at the top to go to. Cooper Kupp, Devonta Adams, obviously are great options. I mean, these guys are just going to get a ton of volume. Cooper Kupp's targets these last few weeks have gone down a little bit, but in this game against Tampa Bay secondary, I mean, they really haven't been that good this year. This is a Tampa Bay team you can definitely beat through the air. Cooper Kupp went for 30 Draftkings points earlier this season against Tampa Bay. I think it's a really good spot for Cooper Kupp. He's by far, one of the better pay-up options on this slate. I think Devonta Adams looks great as well. Both Cooper Kupp and Adams are projecting for a good amount of ownership. They're both projecting for, over 23 Draftkings points. They're really good plays. I don't think I need to tell you that. But then some of these other receivers that we can look to, Deebo Samuel, a little bit hesitant on Deebo Samuel just because, his usage in the passing game, it's been a little up and down. Now, obviously, they've been using Deebo Samuel a lot through the ground. He's basically been like their backup running back. They really haven't even been involving anyone else outside of Samuel and Mitchell. So I think Deebo Samuel will get like 8 to 10 carries. He'll probably get some targets as well. I think this is a game that the 49ers might have to throw the ball a little bit more than normal just because I think game script could force them to. Deebo Samuel, he's been running really good with touchdowns. It feels like this dude scores a touchdown every single week. I want to say there's some regression coming there. I think I'd rather go to guys like Cooper Kupp and Devonta Adams who are alpha wide receivers that are going to get 12, 13 targets. Whereas I don't know if Deebo Samuel has that kind of target upside just with how little the 49ers want to throw the ball. But obviously he's still viable, on a short 4-game slate. Jamar Chase, Mike Evans, I mean, these guys are firmly in play as well. It's really hard to say anything negative about any of these receivers because they're all elite talents. They all have a ton of upside. We obviously can't play all of them. I think my favorite receiver plays this weekend, I'm looking to this Buffalo KC game. I think Tyreek Hill and Steph Diggs are just both way too cheap. I mean, $6,600 for Tyreek Hill. I know he's been really inconsistent lately, but man, this price point, we never get Tyreek Hill below 7K. He was 7K last week on the Sunday slate. I played him in my main lineup. He was okay, 5 catches for 57 yards and a touchdown. I think Tyreek Hill looked great once again this week. This is a game that again has a lot of shootout potential. When these teams did play back in week 8, it was or when did they play? Back in week 5, Tyreek 7 catches, 63 yards. Not the best game from Tyreek Hill, but we know this guy just has slate-breaking upside. We know the target volume is going to be there. This game, I think we're going to see a lot of pass attempts, a lot of points scored. I think really all the boxes are checked for Tyreek Hill. And I want to say his snaps last week were pretty good as well. We know in that Denver game, he got injured in pregame warm-ups, and his snaps were limited. But I'm pretty sure last week he got back to his full allotment of snaps. I want to just take a look real quick to confirm that. Tyreek last week, 77% of the snaps, which is usually around his season average. Yeah, I think Tyreek at 6'6" looks great. On Yahoo, I like Tyreek a lot there. His price tags come way down on Yahoo. I mean, $23. The fact that he's cheaper than A.J. Brown, I mean, he's he's only $1 more than T. Higgins, Odell. Just give me Tyreek Hill for sure. One of my favorite receiver plays this week. I like him a lot again. I think Steph Diggs looks great as well. I think if you want to use Steph Diggs as a run back in your Chiefs stacks, he's going to be one of the targets to go to from Buffalo. We know Steph Diggs gets a ton of volume as well. I think this is a game where we're going to see Josh Allen throw the ball a ton. So I think guys like Steph Diggs, Cole Beasley in tournaments, Gabe Davis in tournaments, like these are guys you can look to run back in your Chiefs stacks, or if you wanted to stack up the Bills, if you wanted to stack up Josh Allen, Steph Diggs, Gabe Davis, like I think that's totally viable just because we're going to see so many pass attempts, a ton of points scored should be scored in this game. Steph Diggs at 6,500 in this shootout, like this is just too cheap of a price point. And I want to say Steph Diggs, when they played back in Week 5, both Tyreek and Steph Diggs did not do that well when these teams played back in Week 5. But I don't care. Like, these price points are just stupid in my opinion. These are the guys that are projecting out the best right now at wide receiver, and it kind of makes sense just because they're not priced where they should be. On Yahoo at $27, I think Stephon Diggs looks really good over there as well. Right now, ownership on Steph Diggs and Tyreek is pretty high. 33% projected ownership for Diggs, 26% for Tyreek Hill. But looking at ownership projections for wide receiver, like it's kind of spread out. I mean, the highest owned wide receiver right now is Diggs at 33%. And then you got like 28% going to Kupp, 24 to Adams, 22 to Chase, 21 to Mike Evans. On these playoff slates, there's just so many viable options, so many good plays that ownership tends to get spread out. Like, you're not going to see guys get 60, 70% owned just because there's so many good plays. It's just kind of, everyone projects pretty well that the ownership's going to be spread out. So even though Tyreek's projecting for, a decent amount of ownership, same with Diggs, I think they look like two of the better receiver plays for sure. Definitely too cheap in my opinion. And then some of these other guys at receiver we can go to, A.J. Brown always offers big play upside. The floor on A.J. Brown is pretty low. We've seen a lot of disappointing games this year from A.J. Brown, but we know he can go out there and break a slate, put up 30-plus DraftKings points any week. Getting Derrick Henry back, I don't know how good that is for A.J. Brown. Again, I think we're going to see Tennessee run the ball a lot here with Derrick Henry. They're going to feed Derrick Henry as much as possible as long as he can, stand it. But A.J. Brown, more of a tournament play, is viable. T. Higgins, I was pretty high on last week for the 2-game slate. He was really disappointing, just one catch for 10 yards. He was pretty chalky last week. I don't think he's going to get nearly as much ownership this week. So T. Higgins at 5,700 as a contrarian option. I do like a good amount in the mid-range. Odell just seems to score a touchdown like every week. It's now 3 out of his last 4 games he scored a touchdown. I mean, Odell's volume, it's been okay. About 5, 6, 7 targets a week. I think this is a good game to target, though. The Rams-Tampa Bay game, I think this is another game, again, we've talked about it, has a lot of shootout potential. This is probably my second favorite game on the slate to target behind the KC-Buffalo game. So I definitely think Odell, especially if you're playing Matthew Stafford, he makes for a good stacking option. With Matthew Stafford, he's a viable option in the mid-range. And then if we're looking for value at wide receiver, there's a couple guys I think we can look to here. Julio Jones at 4,700. Julio Jones has just been a total headache this year. He's been really, really bad. I mean, he's had one good game all season, and that was back in Week 2 against Seattle. But he did look pretty good in that last regular season game against Houston. 5 catches, 58 yards, and a touchdown. Got 9 targets. I mean, I want to say Julio Jones is in play. I know he's been so frustrating to roster this year, but he's still a guy that offers upside. I still want to say he's a talented receiver. I don't think Julio Jones is, completely washed. If he gets 8 or 9 targets, he's going to project out pretty well at 4,700. Right now, the ownership on Julio Jones, I don't think it's really that high. Just 6.4 projected ownership, 6.4% projected ownership for Julio Jones. He's only projected for 10.6 DraftKings points. There's basically everyone priced around him projects better. Odell, Brandon Ayuk, all these guys are projecting for more fantasy points than Julio. So Julio as a tournament play, I mean, I kind of like. I don't think Tennessee, I don't think anyone's going to be stacking Tennessee. You're not going to see many Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, Ryan Tannehill lineups. So, if you want to get different on this 4-game slate, you could definitely stack up Tennessee because I don't think that's going to be something a lot of people do. If you want to go to Julio for value, I think he's in play. Gabe Davis at 4,600, we talked about, I like his over on Prize Picks, 27.5 receiving yards. I think is a value wide receiver option. He makes a lot of sense. Again, he played 71% of the snaps last week, even with Manny Sanders back. Only saw 3 targets, but if Gabe Davis is going to be on the field for 60, 70% of the snaps in a game that has a lot of shootout potential, yeah, Gabe Davis is going to be someone I do look to as a value option. I think at 4,600, he is firmly in play. Alan Lazard with MVS doubtful, I think is a fine play. Randall Cobb is expected back this week. I think Randall Cobb is really cheap. Yeah, 3,100. If you want to look for a pure punt play, I think Randall Cobb at 3,100 is viable. Right now, he's projecting out for, I don't think much ownership. 18% projected ownership for Randall Cobb, so a little bit more than I thought. But yeah, 3,100 as a punt play with MVS doubtful. You could look to Randall Cobb. You could play Alan Lazard as well. Those guys are probably more tournament plays, but they're viable if you're looking for value. I think Byron Pringle at 4,200, his role's kind of been pretty good as of late. His targets have been there as well. He's kind of emerged as the wide receiver 2 for Kansas City behind Tyreek Hill. His snaps have gone up as well. Like, he's been playing ahead of Demarcus Robinson, been playing ahead of, Josh Gordon. I think Josh Gordon was like a healthy scratch last week. Byron Pringle at 4,200 in this great game environment. He's someone I do like as a value option. I'll for sure be looking to him in some of my Chiefs stacks. And then the rest of these guys, like Van Jefferson, Manny Sanders, Cole Beasley, more tournament plays, just kind of dart throws. Van Jefferson, he had a good stretch of games during the regular season after Robert Woods got injured. Ever since then, it's kind of been all downhill for Van Jefferson. The targets haven't been that great either. But he does always offer like big play upside. He had a 41-yard reception last week. Like, he can always break off a long touchdown catch. He's 4,200. I don't think he gets any ownership. So, Van Jefferson as a dart throw in GBPs, like, I don't mind. If you want to go there, probably would only be going to him in like my Stafford lineups where I'll be stacking up the Rams. But yeah, like Van Jefferson as a dart throw, I think is in play. But that's kind of it for the wide receiver position. I think that's kind of all the value that I'm looking to. There's a couple of guys down here you could consider, like Tyler Johnson. His role without Chris Godwin's been solid. If you want to go to him at 3,700, he's in play. But I think if I'm looking for value wide receivers like below 5K, guys like Julio, Gabe Davis, Byron Pringle, and if you're really wanting to punt, I think Randall Cobb at 3,100, now that he's going to play, is viable too as a punt option. But that's it for wide receiver. Let's go ahead and talk about the tight end position real quick before we do end this video. So, at tight end this week, we've got some of our favorite tight ends to roster, some of the best tight ends in fantasy: Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski, George Kittle. These are 3 of the best tight end plays on the slate. If you look at this tight end position, like outside of those top 3 guys, your other options are like Dawson Knox and Tyler Higbee and CJ Uzomah, guys that just don't really offer the same amount of upside. So I think if you are going to play a cheap tight end, Tyler Higbee's probably the best value at 4K. But I would really be wanting to get in Kelce, Gronk, or Kittle, just because I think these are the guys that have the most upside. They're projecting most of the tight end ownership right now is going to those 3 guys: Kelce, Kittle, and Gronk. I think between the 3, Gronk's probably my favorite at 5,800. It just seems like Gronk scores a touchdown like every week. Like, Brady just loves throwing to Gronk in the red zone. Gronk's role has been amazing without Godwin. He's been running deeper routes down the field. He's been getting a ton of targets. I think Gronk might be my favorite tight end this week. George Kittle, I played him last week, and man, like George Kittle, it seems like he has like a massive game, and then like 3 games in a row he'll just be complete shit. Like, he's had he's had some huge games this week or this year. 42 DK points against Seattle, 37 DK points against Cincy. He'll have like 12, 15 target games, and then you'll also have games where Kittle only gets like 2 or 3 targets. We know the 49ers want to run the ball a ton. We know Kittle is a really good blocker. They use Kittle a lot as a blocker. His usage in the passing game has definitely been concerning. I think Kittle is still one of the best fantasy tight ends, but his floor compared to Gronk and compared to Kelce is much lower. I still think he has just as high of a ceiling as those guys, but he's probably more of a tournament play for me just because the floor on Kittle is still fairly low. I would try and get up to Gronk if I can. I think Kelce's a really good play too. Dawson Knox is viable, but if I was playing a cheap tight end, I think I'd rather go to Tyler Higbee at 4K. If you want to punt with like CJ Uzomah, I think it's fine, but man, like this tight end position, I think it's pretty clear. Like, we want to be trying to fit in one of these top 3 guys: Kelce, Gronk, or Kittle. The pricing on this slate is not too tight. Like, DraftKings, they kind of made the pricing pretty soft. Like, no one is that expensive. You can build some pretty good lineups this weekend. So you should be able to fit in one of those top 3 tight ends. I think that's where I'd be wanting to get most of my exposure to at this position. If you were to go cheap, I think Higbee would be a fine value at 4K, but that's really it for the tight end position, guys, and that's it for this 4-game slate for this divisional round weekend. These should be 4 great games. I always look forward to the playoffs, man. The NFL playoffs are always so fun to watch. The NFL slates are always so fun to play. I'll definitely be playing the 4-game slate. I'll probably play the 2-game Sunday and the 2-game Saturday slate too. But I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. I do appreciate you watching. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button down below, guys. Hit the subscribe button as well. As we said at the beginning of the video, if you have not yet, go check out PrizePicks. Sign up with PrizePicks or sign up to PrizePicks. Use code NOAH when you do. PrizePicks will match your first deposit. They'll give you a free bet up to $100 when you sign up with my code. If you take a look on the screen right now, we talked about it at the beginning. They are running a promo this weekend for Patrick Mahomes' passing yards. They have set his passing yards at 0.5. You would obviously take the over on that. It is basically a free pick they are giving you. You find another pick to pair with that one. The one that I really like that you can pair with that is over 27.5 receiving yards for Gabriel Davis. We kind of talked about why I like that pick at the beginning of the video. You pair those two together, and if you hit the Gabe Davis pick, if you go 2 for 2, you would triple up your money. So you could turn $25 into $75 easily as that. If you don't want to play the Gabe Davis pick, well, then you can look at their board. You can find some other picks that you like for Prize Picks. But yeah, guys, Prize Picks, fun DFS site. I've been playing over there a ton. I know a lot of you guys have already signed up over there. But if you're new and you have not checked them out, go sign up. Use code NOAH. Take advantage of this promo that Prize Picks is running for this NFL slate this weekend. And hopefully you can make some money on this NFL slate. But best of luck this week, guys. Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you did enjoy. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.